beating the top 3 teams, if strength of schedule is an indicator of anything, is that Dignitas are on the rise. Echo Fox, though, this is a roster that is very hard to prepare for. We've talked about how Echo Fox don't really show a whole lot of their hand in scrims because of the in-house stuff, and then they also have been swapping people around, but now are solidified on these 5. A little harder to scout because you don't have the entire season to pull from, but we'll see what happens here.
See if there is the favorability of that Maokai as well. We have been seeing it banned on blue side by some teams.
And I do want to point one more thing out here, where Team Dignitas, Counterlogic Gaming just lost. So Counterlogic Gaming's record at the end of week 8 is 11-5. Team Dignitas, if they win this, they will move to 10-6, and they play Counterlogic Gaming and Team Liquid in their last week. And Counterlogic Gaming plays Dignitas and TSM. Team Dignitas has the potential to get the 3rd seed here. If they win their remaining matches, they could tie CLG, and then they may have that head-to-head.
Absolutely ridiculous. Kind of turning the history on its head for what this team has done. Always kind of a middle of the pack once that LCS started, quite strong, but never able to kind of push through. Now they're having that chance with this squad, and would you even know it? Pretty much over 50% on Barons in their games, too. Unheard of.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got for Pixaban still, though. There is the Taric getting locked in. A lot of go button here on Echo Fox to start things off in the first 3.
I love me some gems, Riv, and when you pair that up with Sivir, who has gems in her headdress, it's just a combo you can't really, ignore. But I love the fact that they're going for a lane that is hyper-aggressive. They already have the Maokai from the first pick. That's going to force Keane to go for the Cassiopeia here, the tank shredder, and then they have the Tristana. I actually think Team Dignitas' comp is very good, even though it's not like the meta tanks or anything like that are engaged. This is kind of the best in class that you can have tank shredders and self-peel with the Tristana.
Could be scary for Keane if the rest of the team decides to take an Uber out of this fight. He is left alone. We'll see what kind of safety they can actually throw into the comp, though. He does get to stand behind Shrimp on Gragas so far. Maybe that's some days as we get the second phase of bans in here. Orianna, the Nunu gets taken out, so Shrimp can't be a nuisance.
Yeah, it's banned against him all the time
All the time. It's great to have at least one that's going to tick against that team every time. They got to throw in the Nunu, so what else do they choose as a priority here for their second ban for Echo Fox?
Up against Team Dignitas, when they're kind of showing one flex and also a support, you may ban a support out here, but that means they also want to make sure that they can not get countered in the top lane if you're going for your support here as Dig. But I feel like Adrian likes to pick it last. That would be interesting, though, because someday, you can pick Jarvan here, double flex. You go Cho'Gath, double flex. Yeah, they may just pick support. Yeah, just thinking about it, it's like, just go for a neutral, because you already know the bottom lane, right? The Taric, that's actually the much better choice there. I had forgotten that the Taric had been locked in alongside the Sivir.
You're also not telling where the Gragas is just yet.
Yes, exactly. It's just much better to do it this way. So forget everything I had said previously. Because I had forgotten, because everybody's locking their support in second round.
Yeah.
But the Taric just seemed to be such a high priority for Echo Fox that they got it really early.
All right, so we got Corki back in the mid lane as he is having another week here in week 8. And what will the final pick be? Looking for that jungler, possibly, or top laner. We do have the Maokai in there. Does Akaadian want the Mao? And he does take it. Shen will go to Brandini on the top side. So a lot of protection. Heals, shields, stuns, and lockup. If one person getting locked down, Dignitas better have the rest of the team behind to fight it. So far, a bit of disengagement, like you said, the ability to still shred Echo Fox's composition down. And they round it out with the possible Kled.
Engage. Yes, this is a good matchup into the Shen for the pull, but you can dodge a lot of your remount and your passive W. But some days, actually got a very good Kled. My favorite thing about this is you look down at the bottom, the fact that his KDA is so high, but also his kill participation was 80%. His Kled is actually pretty disgusting to watch because he's always part of the engages. He's always just using the ultimate. He's actually undefeated on it, 3-0, 16 KDA this split.
It's ridiculous, especially when it seems like Ssumday is kind of on a feel-good run. He continues to play better, and it's not until you see like this stark fall off. I think we saw it in the first few weeks, then we didn't from Dignitas, and here at the end, what a great time for Ssumday to be pulling out those results here in the end of the split. Dignitas versus Echo Fox. We're about to be on to the Rift. And compositions matching up, but a little bit separated as well.
Yeah.
A little engaged from Ssumday there, and the whole team of Fox wants to engage.
I would say like these teams are kind of like two Legos, right?
Oh, which ones?
Just ones that fit into each other, Riv. I'm not going to get super complicated on this one. Where Echo Fox are saying we want to be aggressive, and Team Dignitas is like, okay, you know, you can just fit right in here, and we'll kite backwards. And so both teams are going to be able to get to do what they want to do. Echo Fox have so much engaged, they'll get to engage. And Team Dignitas are saying, you can come engage at us. We'll have a peel with the Kled. We'll have dive if we do want to turn something around. And then we also have the Janna and two very good tank shredders. So they didn't kind of play what the meta game was. They're playing the counter meta game.
And they kind of have a bit of that scaling for Keane and Altec to hang out in lane, to be okay with just sitting back during this laning phase. And that may trigger Echo Fox to try and get a little bit more coin starts for our supports, refillable potions in the jungle. And the talisman. The only change up I think we have is some shields off on the side of Fox and a sword for Ssumday as he's throwing out that pocket pistol. Maybe some pocket Legos. You step on those, who knows what happens.
It's worse than a pistol, I swear. But I want to talk about something here, because with these compositions, like the carries of Dignitas scale a little bit better than the carries of Echo Fox, but you cannot really underestimate like Corki damage and a Sivir against a bunch of squishies, or people who aren't going to be as tanky as your front line. So in terms of damage to tank ratio, I would actually say the ratios of these teams are pretty equal. It's just one has a little more tankiness than damage, and then the other one vice versa. And then you also throw in the fact that this Taric will be able to absorb a lot of damage with his ultimate. I mean, these team fights become hard to navigate. So Echo Fox, I think, despite having a comp that has tanks and you would say wants to scale, I feel like you be aggressive. If you're Echo Fox, be aggressive. Akaadian is actually first blood leader right now in terms of percentage of first bloods. So he's very active, and that's what you want to see from Echo Fox, is an early aggressive start from them up against this team that wants to scale.
These kittens are terrifying.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice they have like
psychedelic. All right, let's see what he does. Akaadian starts throwing it around. He's got to be comfy. He's in his onesie. He should feel very, very comfortable in the jungle.
Super leash.
The super leash. He'll go back on that Raptor and start things off.
Yeah, I actually feel like he just goes to the top side of the map after this. I feel like it takes too much time to go kill that big Raptor. And Froggen saying, Keane, yo, what up? Fight me. And they just trade back and forth. Froggen has the better keystone for the early trades. And so he pushes in Keane, who went Corrupting Potion there. So he has kind of stacks ticking down. And he's going to get all those stacks out. And once you get all the Corrupting Potion stacks out of somebody, then you just have an advantage there. So I actually really like that from Froggen to trade out of his mind early. So now Keane has really low combat stats, especially in comparison to what the Corki's bringing to the table.
The other is Exhaust to Cleanse in that lane. So it could be Froggen pulling that one out with the HP that Keane gets back. All going to be very, very tight situation if it does come down to it. And in the bot lane, Mash Gate, just keeping the turret pushed, or actually the wave pushed off the turret. Would be a nice place to farm.
Ancient coins for everybody. And Akaadian looking to the top side of the map. Ooh, actually.
Oh, this is...
He's found Shrimp. He's low HP.
To a kill. There's the smite down. Shrimp did not. Yes, Dick is red. That's actually going to help get that HP back very nicely. It saves his life, too, in a split second.
Yeah, and the fact that he gets that HP back, he saw it coming. Akaadian, oh, man. Yeah, if Akaadian was faster on that smite, Shrimp doesn't get HP back from the smite, Shrimp would have to go for an actual just flash away. Yeah. And even then, he may not make it completely, but we, you know, are living in that world for just a moment. We'll live back in this one now, as Akaadian is completely just taking the jungle on the top side. And now you'll have to let Shrimp take something on the bottom, maybe.
It says, chug my refillable, use my passive, or at least use abilities to get my passive. And he can take that safely. He may even be able to activate in mid if he does know the run. He can steal away the Raptor. But knowing the lane will push here at bot, he may just go for Krugs and see if he can do something.
Well, because Ssumday put a ward down to see that Akaadian was on the Krugs on the top side, he went ahead and said, Shrimp, you can go to the bottom side of the jungle. And that's actually a lot of damage onto the Kled. And Ssumday just says, yep, I can just go back down. Shen doesn't really have enough damage early to burst you out, but Akaadian's going to go for Keane. Looking for it because Keane was playing a little bit too far up, but Akaadian's going to walk around, maybe finish his Raptor now. This big Raptor. Oh, that was key, actually. If that lands, he gets the taunt, he may have killed Ssumday there.
I agree. I think that was absolutely a kill. Now back on a Scarl, has a little bit more safety, and he can start to harass here within that minion wave. See the lane still pushed towards the bot side, calling from help from Akaadian. He'll realize he's been swindled, and he has no crux.
Brandini's playing so aggro. If he kills Ssumday solo, that would be a huge accomplishment for him.
That would have been flash for flash. I like the way he's actually playing it, though. He says, yeah, we'll leave him up. I'm just winning it regardless. Keeps the flashes, and now he's going to get the teleport out of Ssumday.
Yeah, and that's going to give him double global advantage when he hits level 6. So Brandini, who had the Camille band against him, who's been playing well, actually he's going to back and match. Okay, so even though it's double longsword, he says that's still enough for me to really want to do this. Actually, he can't trade here too heavily because there's too many caster minions. Brandini, if he trades, he's going to take a decent amount of damage. Huh?
Nice taunt back.
He's actually playing really well. Brandini is actually
cycling in and out perfectly and only taking a few shots, if any. They're really working the minion damage.
Oh, hello. Body slam down.
Akaadian and Shrimp now back together for a bit of a matchup. Looks like he says, fine, you're Raptors. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, well, also Shrimp has backed and has the Bomby Cinder, but that means Shrimp says, I'm stronger than Akaadian. We win all 2-on-2s. So Shrimp gets to do whatever he wants now, knowing that a back might come through. Ssumday. Oh!
No way! Had to see it coming. Bit of a flash there by Brandini as he got excited for the kill to come up. He didn't want Ssumday getting away at all, and Shrimp's going to try to get an answer here. Froggen gets bumped out. There's the Stand United coming in. They're going to go back onto Keane. The exhaust they've been holding throughout the lane now taunted back onto Shrimp.
Shrimp might have to flash here.
It's going to be tough. He does have the minion wave he can get through and just slalom his way to safety, but Brandini coming up big in 2 lanes very quick.
That right there was really interesting because Brandini, the fact that he got the solo kill top on Ssumday, beautifully played here from his pressure of the pass-through on the Q, gets the extra damage there, gets the grasp, and then the flash, not necessary because he also had Maokai coming up. I actually feel like that flash you should not be doing. So he solo kills him, and that's great. But that flash, 0 reason. Akaadian was there. Akaadian was coming up. You're dead to rights. And then he would have had flash for killing Keane in mid lane or forcing the cleanse out.
Honestly, I feel like he knows he made a wrong flash in that situation, too. You just get a little excited. Got to secure that first blood. I mean, feels good, especially on Ssumday.
I feel like I'm being a bit of a Scrooge where you like want to celebrate Brandini killing Ssumday solo, which is an accomplishment for him. But that's just a small optimization that you can make. I actually wouldn't say it's small. I actually think that's a big thing. When people get that kind of I have to kill him mentality and they flash, if you get his flash, you have Akaadian there who's going to be able to route him off, cut him off. Kled is also slower than any other champion in the game when he's running away from people, so you're going to catch him with base movement speed. They were just kind of afraid of maybe Shrimp being there and being stronger than Akaadian, but
Just a fast play. You can see how much he did not want Ssumday to get away. But I feel this is the result.
I feel like that's a little rookie thing because people who flash like that, it shows they are like, I got to get that kill instead of the whole big picture, right? Using that flash there may not actually be what you want to do.
You have over 1,000 range of lane to walk after that guy and use that flash potentially.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Big picture thing. It's kind of that rookie thing where that's an instinctual play, right? In solo queue, go for the kill, do it, right? It feels good. But in pro play, you have to kind of instill those instincts. That's what the practice is for, is getting those instincts down. Keane's gonna have to smite.
Smite and flash.
Yeah, he had to flash there because Keane was actually coming down as well. There's so much damage on this turret here. Because of Altec and Adrian, this AA bot lane, battering it down.
Nated. Looks like he'll be fine. He threw a little sapling into the brush, and Dignitas is going to hover towards the bottom. It won't be much for Fox. Defense on this second wave as it comes in, that just means more farm for Mash, but it also means Gate might be able to do a little bit of roaming here after it goes down. I like it, Altec.
Dig has been looking great with Altec and Adrian. I've cast both their games this week, and even up against Immortals, like they look really good in this bottom lane. Adrian has been a big standout on pretty much all the champions he's played, as well as Altec just having that security. I feel like Adrian really just kind of elevates the AD carry that he's with as well. And just like I haven't really heard too many complaints about like playing with Adrian as an AD carry, right?
It's a bit of an enigma, right?
Yeah, he wards a whole bunch.
Been on teams, been off teams, and they're like, yeah, maybe. Oh, Adrian, not so much. It's not working out. Hey, and then sometimes it slots in.
Think of what happens after the team loses Adrian, though.
Yeah, it's true.
TIP into Immortals, and then
there's a lot of the early game from the bot.
As soon as
goes away.
Adrian left Immortals, and that's what happened. That was it. Not Huni ran over or anything like that.
It took this long to figure it out.
It was Adrian. Then he went over to, sorry. I was like, he went over, he played for Phoenix 1, and then, look at that. And then he gets subbed out. Oh no! 10th place!
Don't do it again.
And then Dignitas pick him up.
Diggle no now. See if he can get thrown out of the lane. Of course. They head to the top side with bottom being down. Dignitas trying to up the pace of the game already here, 10 minutes in. Looks like Echo Fox will be able to leave MASH a little bit once they get these wards in. But so far, it's cleanup duty here for Echo Fox as Dignitas looks to make the next move.
Yeah, as Dignitas are winning these lanes right now in terms of bottom and top a little bit because of CS, I feel like the Shen is going to pick some up here, so it's kind of even on the top side despite that kill. This is big because they also got themselves a Mountain Drake. The next one's Mountain. If you maintain control and this Tristana is able to get double Mountain Drake, you'll scale well, you'll accelerate the pace of the game naturally via her explosive charge. So, you're sitting in a really good spot.
Brandini is like, just push it to me, please. He's hanging out in his bottom brush. And it looks like bot lane's gonna get the same push. No need for him to die. Actually, a very nice move there that he doesn't get 3v1'd in the situation, even though there wasn't a chance. But they just want to be able to trade nicely.
Yeah.
It does go a little bit after Adrian, but now they know Brandini is there, and the pushes may continue.
Yeah, this is interesting because Echo Fox need wards on this top quadrant. Froggen's going to rotate, try to accelerate the pace with a 4-on-1. Cosmic Radiance.
Cask out. Radiance goes on. Akaadian misses that, but it is on MASH. He had the aggro of the turret. Keane's there. Miasma down, but nobody gets locked down. And Dignitas is actually coming up pretty nice on this. They're able to route Fox off the bottom turret.
Much faster push. Now it's 3 turrets to 1 turret, and they're going to back. They're going to lose out.
This is perfect, too, because you're getting Storm Shield damage in from Adrian onto Altec, so even more damage on the turrets. A slightly faster clip than usual to drop these structures. And we already mentioned the Mountain Drake, so this portion, it was about 9 minutes when this started. And Dignitas gained a lot of gold in that 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and I actually am really interested in the build path from Altec here because he has double daggers after having the BF sword, and he's going to complete the Infinity Edge first like he normally does instead of going for a Zeal item or boots too. But it feels like the double dagger purchase is so he can have enough, because like I think Double Lift was talking about this on his stream the other day, where Tristana and Kalista have certain breakpoints for dagger or double dagger, where you can get 3 spears in a minion as Kalista and then turn, and the spears won't time out. With Tristana, it's explosive charge to keep getting it stacked up very quickly, and then be able to keep that person in range and get enough off on them, or the combo with the R. But this is also just for attacking turrets, right? Like, certain breakpoints that these pros really care about, and this seems to be one of them. Is Rift Herald, I think, is the next objective to help break mid. Yeah, warding over to kill the Blast Cone. I like it.
It's all the little things. Hopefully, it's not their escape later. That's what you always hope for. Be like, I'm going to play this, and then we don't invade. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Coming up on 13 minutes, it looks like Dignitas is going to grab that top side, but with Vision on Herald, it may give Fox a chance to get a little bit of Froggen's poke in there. Right now, Dignitas is actually playing it safe, knowing they have the aggression in lanes, and these fights or even sieges is in their favor. Looking at Froggen with low mana right now. Might be a possibility. As
they're going to push.
Won't be able to control the wave.
Is gone, exactly like you were saying, Riff. Adrian picking up all the coins. They're going to walk forward. Lots of damage. Akaadian has ulti, but because Froggen has no mana, I don't even think they can fight. This is just, you kind of have to watch, let them take your turret. All you get to do is really watch and push your top lane, which is now going to pull Altec to go far from this wave.
Yeah. Nice little play by him as well at the turret.
Adrian's going to go for wards. Adrian goes for deeper wards there, and he'll back soon to refill his Sightstone. This is kind of like the Adrian special. He'll place his wards back, get himself a full stack of wards again, and then just be out on the map ready to go for it again. So now he's just kind of waiting for coins. Going to help shove. And he'll go for that before resetting the map. You want to reset soon.
Looks like they'll be pushing that top side in towards Brandini.
2? Is that a Rift Herald? So they're getting these deep wards.
They have the wards for it.
They're getting these deep wards. Ssumday can also TP in. but you might have to reverse the map still. You're putting all these wards on the top side of the map when Mountain Drake is in a minute, so you're controlling the top side so you can shove it out, see them do blue buff, see if Rift Herald happens and give yourself the option. But now I feel like you're going to start playing towards the bottom side of the map with that Mountain Drake in about 40 seconds here. So they may just replace all their wards to the bottom side.
Yep. Let's say do that. You'd have a quick hit on mid, not waste too much of Shelly's health. You have a second tier turret mid to be hit, and that could be right after you absorb ultimates in this dragon fight. A whole bunch of possibilities Dignitas is going to have to deal with or work with if they can get a steal onto this Rift.
I feel like they flanked this fight.
Exactly.
You have a Tristana that's actually pretty far ahead. He has the Infinity Edge completion, boots too. Whoa, that was so good from Akaadian.
Oh, beautiful flash on the Dazzle. Nature's Grasp not gonna hit either. That goes over to Akaadian. That means they can grab it. 45 seconds is the time they have to do so, but the fight comes in for Dig, and a hit onto Brandini. He gets out of the situation. Nice knockback there, and Akaadian saves the rest of the team. That means Rift Herald chills for now.
So what you do is Maokai is instead of using a W on a target that's point blank, you have to flash in right on top of them, W, so it is point blank.
Yeah.
Because the Tristana will buffer rocket jump and you'll get pulled away. In order to counter Tristanas, you flash on their face and you W them as Maokai. And that's exactly what Akaadian did, so you get less reaction time. And it almost worked out there for him, but Altec played that incredibly well getting off to the side, and the team really doesn't have too much follow-up CC that's instantaneous. You'd have to prep gate using his E and have Bastion on top of Akaadian, or Brandini would have to get in there really quickly, because you saw him throw the root afterwards, the grass, the Nature's Grasp, but they won't have that for this fight here, but a lot of ultimates are down. But I think the key one here is that Adrian still has his. There's the TP from Brandini to try and flank.
Nice hit. That was at least 500 damage across the two champions. Dignitas in and out. Froggen with just a big one to come up. He's waiting to place that one perfectly. 1,500 on the Dragon as he heals up to 2.
Fight.
Dazzle goes down, but Bastion wasn't on the correct target. And it looks like they're trying to cycle through. Very low health here for Dignitas as Mash can cycle some nice ricochets back through the... I'm going to say the front line of this is Keane, but it's not going to go too far as he wasn't far away. Petrifying Gaze onto Mash. He could go down with one more Twin Fang. Froggen walking forward for the exhaust here. And both teams start to limp away. Dragon gonna go to Dignitas after the extended fight.
Yep, the ultimates came back up there for Keane. And we'll just pop that one and turn and push everybody off, getting multiple summoner spells from Froggen and Mash. And just, that's the difference in those early game cooldowns, right? The Taric ultimate's not even close to coming back up. They have the Monsoon. Keane's Petrifying Gaze, very close to coming back up. Already, it's already up now. And he just walks forward because he knows he has Cleanse and Flash. So if you Shen taunt him, he cleanses away. If anything happens, Flash, there it is. Cleanse, walks away, then resets the fight here. Altec gets the rocket jump out, and now Keane is the frontliner because he still has Flash, and he knows there's no taunt because it's already dead. Akaadian would have to be the one to go in, and then Adrian has Monsoon, just barely has Monsoon mana as well. Not really casting any shields here, just making sure he has enough. Oh, sorry, he already used it. Making sure he has enough for the shield that's crucial. So yeah, he had actually used it in the middle of that fight. And oh my god. Yeah, guess we just follow Keane the whole time, follow the mid laners. That's what matters.
He actually did more damage than the other team, basically. Wow, very, very close.
Yes,
Keane, a 5-man Cassiopeia right now, according to that fight, but Dignitas definitely get behind each other to make this happen. Fox not hesitating to pull the trigger, though. 4K behind, and they're still setting up some decent fights here, but Dignitas just able to edge them out. Yeah,
Dignitas with those 2 Mountain Drakes, like I said, being able to just accelerate the pace of the game with the Tristana, with the Cassiopeia as well. They're in really good position now, and we're pretty much seeing why Dignitas are being able to climb the standings after making this roster swap. Their bottom lane is incredibly strong, and it's allowing everybody else to kind of play at full capacity when you don't have to play from having like a deficit in your bottom lane. Your players aren't worried. You don't see Ssumday being as desperate. He even died early, and it wasn't the end of the world at all.
Right, that lane was actually quite controlled. At one point we saw 108 to 83 CS, now 144 to 120, so still seeing kind of that same discrepancy. Ssumday having trouble in lane, still able to farm it out once it was left alone. And here Akaadian picking up red, but it's all known to Dignitas. They have some pretty good cover on the vision.
Yeah. And Adrian it's hard to kind of notice when he plays things like the Janna. Even when I was looking at that fight again, he had already used the Monsoon. He used it as the taunt came through, even though there was the cleanse from Keane. 2 other members got taunted, and he used the Monsoon to buy time to push those members against the wall to give healing and also interrupt any follow-up damage. So Adrian also had a very big impact in that previous fight, and he was saving his mana for that, and then he was regenning afterwards to just barely have a little bit left. And that's going to be blue buff, actually, I believe, stolen away there by Shrimp.
Yep. Just whisked over his way.
Don't give it to Froggen. They're trying to control Froggen. Make sure he doesn't have any mana here, because if he had gotten that, he'd be able to wave clear, and they'd be able to maybe reestablish some control. But what this allows is for Dignitas to shove in top and mid, back, get Altec to buy and spend his 1,700 gold, and not lose any of their 4 control wards on the top side of the map.
They've already been able to work off Froggen out of mana once. That's why mid turret is actually down. Keane picks his up, and Dignitas is sitting quite pretty here. Next move, what would they be looking for? You don't really need to go for the Baron, but they have that control.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have vision back. So they're going to group up, take 2 control wards out so far. No sweeper available just yet for Gate in terms of the 2nd upgrade. And Akaadians is on cooldown. So they're going to get those 3 of those control wards, but they're instantly replaced here. You can see Altec, I believe, has had 2 control wards until just a second ago. Adrian has 3, and they're just stocking up on having control of the Baron. They're trying to go for the Dignitas Baron. The good Baron. The good kind.
They have had a lot of the good kind.
A lot, yeah, it's very true. Like,
which scares you, because that means that power numbers means one of them could be bad.
Exactly, but that's the thing is, in order to kill a meme, it has to not happen for a very long time. And even then, like, I feel like if Dignitas don't throw a Baron for 3 years, as soon as they throw one, people are gonna be like, ah, Dignitas Baron, it happened.
I think you're right.
It's just like Counter Logic Gaming, right? When they're playing really well, and then they end up losing one game and losing that series, it's the false hope. It always comes back. You can't kill memes, man. They just kind of hide for a bit.
The memes will kill you first.
Yeah.
See if Dignitas can shed light on this one. It seems like Fox doesn't want this just yet. Brandini push a little bit more on the bot side. We'll start to gain control. They say, okay, you're going to push. We're going to Baron.
They're not even using Altec there. It's the blue buff on the Cassiopeia, double Mountain Drake. Adrian has to stop. There's the cast. Perfect from Shrimp. They get it with nothing.
Dazzle forward. It looks like they run backwards. Adrian takes a bit of damage from Froggen as he packages out. The bot lane's pushed. It's going to actually be just short of the turret. That'll be a really nice wave for Ssumday to get.
Yeah, that's a big wave for Ssumday to go pick up and get a CS lead. But double Mountain Drake, blue buff onto the Cassiopeia. This is what I love about the Dignitas Baron. They said, hey, the kills, 1-to-1. It's the macro game, the turrets, the CS advantage bottom side that really has been making this a gold lead for them. And then what they did is they said, we had 2 Mountain Drakes, let's set this up. And this was set up from 19 minutes. They started placing control wards, they got better back timers, hit 2-item power spikes on almost everybody, but big people like Adrian, who now has his Ardent Sensor. You also have the Static Shiv IE for Altec, so even if a fight happened there, you have an advantage. But then they gave blue buff over to Keane, replaced their wards, cleared out, pushed the waves, and then they did the Baron. They had a very methodical step-by-step process to take that Baron.
They must have more in order. Looks like the top side is going to be hovered now for Altec. His pressure has to be respected, so that means Keane can go ahead and just sweep this dragon out from under Fox. And that will be 3. A little bit of sustain now going along with their ability to take objectives.
So we're going to see one of 2 things happen here. We're going to see Echo Fox either press the Sivir ultimate, press the Maokai ultimate, everybody run in with Taric ulti, try to kill, mow people down, and Echo Fox try to get in the game, and it'll either go good or bad for them. Or we're going to see Dignitas just get to these turrets, destroy them, and be able to disengage properly.
No Froggen just yet. He pushes towards the top side, doesn't have enough time to take the turret down. Home guards activated as of 3 minutes ago. And get back out under the rift to get a little more assistance for the defense of Echo Fox. Fast forward from Ssumday to finalize the kill.
So that's
Keane's
for
there
level
as
4.
well. Yeah, a little bit of payback. And now the team is going to be able to drop 3 members towards that bot side. Adrian on the roam as well. He is just this floating assistance, as he would be on Janna, but really helping the team to keep strength in each lane they need it at that time.
He keeps going between lanes, picking up the coins. It's like, your minion wave died. Let me get those coins. Goes to the next one. He's got 1,575 gold from his Eye of the Oasis compared to 1,200 from Gate. So he's 400 gold up right now in terms of how much he's gotten, because cannon minions are guaranteed to drop them. So if you can rotate between cannon minion waves, like if Adrian goes here, waits for the cannon minions, or sorry, his cannon minion, the other waves to die, and they're able to push up, and he's able to go on the side. And look at that, disengage, buster shot. That was Shen ulti from Brandini on Akaadian. He was going to flash W, but then buster shot away, Altec with the self-peel. This is why Tristana is such a high priority in North America. These guys, these AD carries, are just so good at playing and making the difference in the team fight with the self-peel, with making the difference with the buster shot.
These are the three now. We have Sivir, but these AD carries that kind of provide their own disengage. Altec can do it twice, rocket jump, buster shot. You have Callista, Fate's Call, jumping around. Sivir, speed. We're seeing a little bit more of that so they can be their own. But the help from the supports has obviously just done tremendous things for them.
Yeah, and in a tank meta where Maokai can just like flash root onto a Jhin, onto a Kog'Maw, it's not always fun to play the AD carry, but the Tristana has a lot of outplay potential on tanks, and then scales up and can actually shred tanks and have a safe distance. So I feel like she is the premier AD carry right now, with Caitlyn being banned all the time. But I even feel like Caitlyn's at the point where you have to have a really good laning phase to be better than the Tristana in the late game. But the traps are something that teams just, it's just so difficult, and it's like, why would I even want to play around traps in the mid game when I could just, you know, not have to do that, ban it away, and then not have the whole team deal with this wall?
Because it works in both situations. You're losing, I trap you off, right? We're winning, I trap you off. It doesn't really matter.
Ooh,
don't want to deal with it. I did, yeah. Just purchased up by MASH. Let's see if it saves his life a few times here, or allows him to stay alive and get the kills.
But I feel like Static Shiv has just been the premier item, like, for Energizer builds. And for Sivir, really getting a rapid fire cannon doesn't matter too much. The Static Shiv kind of doubles down on wave clear and gives you some bursty magic damage. And the Phantom Dancer's like, just don't kill me. Just don't kill me. Give me some extra attack speed. Ugh, but I don't know if it's going to be able to help him this game. But I feel like the only person who's died on this team, like, literally, the score in the game is Brandini's score line. Like, 1-2.
Doing his job, though.
Everything else is
what you want from the Shen.
Exactly. Everything else is just laning. And so Dignitas are showing that they don't, this is what you want to see as well from a top team, is that they don't have to get down in the dirt and get dirty. We'll see here, though. Keane, cleanse away.
Very nice cleanse as he flashes to safety. They just let the Cosmic Radiant shine away. Brandini taunts into safety, so that's not used now in aggression. And as you were saying, Dignitas able to kind of just take this one out through the laning phase. They wanted to scale up Keane and Altec. They did so. Found 2 kills when they had the chance, but it was a very low kill game, so Dignitas could get the lanes they want.
Yeah, and that was beautiful. Though it's going to be Ssumday. Shred going in.
Nice petrifying gaze on both members there on the bot side of Fox. Looking at Akaadian now, the last few fangs and shots coming in from Altec and Keane as they get to stand on the front line. That just shows you how confident and big they feel as they make their way into the base of Echo Fox.
Yep, double super minion waves. 28 minutes almost on the clock here, and the double mountain drake's going to do work.
Ooh. Altec jumps to the side, blasts Froggen away to say, no more damage from you. Akaadian trying to do the same thing, says, check out my Snuggie, it's really comfy. But Dignitas says it feels more comfortable to take the Nexus than have a game under the belt. 4-1, just under 30 minutes in. They're chipping away. Seems like they're getting the hammers and the chisels out, but they're mainly targeted on the members of Echo Fox. One last brawl as we see the stand united for Brandini coming in. And ever so slowly, Dignitas takes down the Nexus. Game 1, Dignitas over Echo Fox.
28 minutes. That was really clean. It was 1-1 in terms of kills for the longest time.
Forever.
But the turret advantage, the fact the bottom lane won just off of the 2-on-2 in the matchup and just kept pushing. Altec Adrian really opening up the map there, and then they rotated, had better pressure. You saw them actually stop the Echo Fox push for 2 turrets, and they got 2 themselves, and then it was 3-for-1 in terms of turrets overall, and then they just slowly pushed that. Didn't have to involve a lot of fights. Even that, I think that last fight, not the one where everybody was kind of like going over the Nexus and stuff, the one before that, right? The one that was happening on the bot side, where you saw Akaadian try to flash W in onto Keane, cleanse, back up, even though the Nature's Grasp came out, the ultimate from Maokai, they were able to disengage it still. I think that's actually a beautiful display of what Dignitas were doing. They're not playing like the meta in terms of, you know, the tanks and the engage. They're playing the counter meta, the tank shredders, the long range, and the disengage. Adrian was keeping everybody safe, even if like Keane doesn't get the cleanse off, doesn't have flash. If Altec misplays, they still had Adrian to disengage, and that's what happened in that fight. Is everything just went the way of Dignitas because you have to throw yourself at them, and then they have to misplay and not disengage you appropriately.
Exactly.
So I like that draft from Dignitas and the way they played it.
And I think that Dignitas shores up a few of the things that used to hurt them early game, and we saw it at that bot inhib, is feeling like they have to do something. It feels like they know much better when they have a lead, and they're okay with it. Instead of saying, we might be behind, we have to push a turret, dang, we failed on that dive. Much better now, and we'll see if they can carry that confidence into game 2. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to the analysts to see what they make of that game 1 Dignitas win.
Thank you very much, Riv. What I make of that is that's how you play a game of League of Legends without securing kills and still getting the victory. I mean, game 1 of C9 FlyQuest was averaging over a kill a minute. We had 3 impactful kills in this game. Yes, a couple more were picked up there at the end after the Nexus was essentially going down, but only 2 kills total for Dignitas leading up to that Nexus kill.
Yeah, Monte Cristo's new favorite team, most likely. All objective play, no kills. You can win the game without anything. That's perfect play.
You can, and Dignitas has shown us how. Again, it's very important for us to recognize the fact that Echo Fox actually got the first kill on the map. Dignitas, in the face of that single kill, went up 3 turrets to 1 in the early game. Let's take a look at how they did it. This Tristana pick gonna be huge, and I know we heard from Ssumday a little bit earlier about how Tristana wants to be played.
Right, a lot of people say, Ssumday called it split push Tristana, but what he really means is side lane. Like, you're not trying to, 1v4 where your other people are holding and you're just Tristana pushing. But in the early and mid game, you really don't want to fight too much with Tristana. She does have some power spikes, and if she gets her E off, she can skirmish. But she's very happy doing what happened this game, where she just moves side lane to side lane, keep pushing in, keep using your E on turrets, and just mow down the first couple turrets. And eventually, despite Echo Fox getting the first kill, Dignitas had about a 3,000 gold lead.
Exactly. Of course, they've built around that Tristana very well. We saw both the Janna and the Gragas able to disengage anytime Echo Fox goes for a full engagement 5v5, just saying, no, we're going to reset, wait for the next wave to fly in and take the turret. You see there on your screens, 2.4K gold lead at 15 minutes with 0 kills. 0 kills. That's very impressive.
Very hard to do because, for the most part, Echo Fox wasn't just completely sitting back and letting this happen.
Right.
Sometimes they rotated down to the bot lane. They tried to get into a split push situation where there's a little bit of a mini base race kind of thing. But for the most part, Team Dignitas was just way further ahead and managing the waves better.
All right, so with a 2.4K gold lead, we go into a dragon fight in the river in which Dignitas only picks up 1 kill, but eyes on Keane here as he essentially 1v4s in the latter half of this fight.
Yeah, they show the damage breakdown at the end of this. He had about 5,000 damage, out-damaged the whole rest of his team.
Echo Fox only did 5K damage as a team in this fight.
Yeah, so you see the taunt come in. This is after there had already been a team fight, so there was no Cosmic Radiance to come down and kind of save this fight for them. So as that Shen taunt goes in,
all right,
he gets focused down, and then here's where Keane takes over the fight, goes actually 1v4 basically by himself. Echo Fox does not feel safe turning onto him. He's going to get almost another kill for himself onto Max. Nash just playing that perfectly, staying just out of the Taric stun range, and eventually this secures the second Mountain Dragon of the game for his team, which eventually they're going to use.
Yeah, exactly. Second Mountain Dragon. Now let's fast forward to the Baron because this Dignitas team gets it. They know how to play around this global objective. Again, no kills come through here, but they secure a major advantage.
Get vision control. They take it a little slow. They realize that with the double Mountain Dragon, as well as having Cassiopeia, they can kind of burn it down. They have their bot lane stay mid, make the other team take it slow, and because they're trying to go relatively slow, this thing is going down way faster than they're ready for. Great Gragas ultimate to just knock back the guy with Smite, secure that Baron for free, and then once again, another big advantage for Dignitas, no kills really going over.
Again, everyone on the same page there. Everyone knew that our only objective is take the Baron, push them away, and then get out. Too often we see teams in those split-second decision moments, half the team goes in, half the team's trying to finish the Baron, and it can really come back to bite them. Dignitas has shown a lot of poise and a lot of control around these global objectives, and here in the late part of the season, they're making a surge up to the top of the standings.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that has to be Keane. He's going to pick up player of the game. And it's one of those times where as Altec and Adrian joined the team and Shrimp joined the team, it's a very different roster than the beginning of it. Ssumday and Keane being the two staying members, he's kind of gotten forgotten about over the course of this time, but he was always known as an inconsistent player.
Right.
When's the last time you can remember this guy feeding and actually doing terrible in a game?
No, it's a really great point, right? I mean, we looked at Ssumday as the playmaker for Dignitas and who was the guy who was going to step up next to it. Occasionally, you would see Keane have a standout performance. Now with a more secure bot lane in Altec and Adrian, and Keane finding that consistency like you mentioned, and then even still having carry performances like this, they're looking like a very dangerous team going into the postseason.
And you can maybe give them a little bit of criticism because it does seem to be on a very select few number of champions, Cassiopeia being a big standout. But in the current meta, you don't really have that many bans to throw mid lane unless you're blue side. And even then, they're probably going to get a whole bunch of other things on the first and second pick on red side as a result because you're not banning out the other strong champions. So it could be a situation where even though he doesn't have what I would say is a very robust champion pool right now, he is hard to target because how many of those bans are you really going to give away? And are you going to start giving him that Nunu and that Maokai again? Those kinds of questions come up.
Exactly. Credit to Dignitas for a very clean game 1. We'll see if Echo Fox can even up the score when we come back with game 2 against Team Dignitas. We'll see you soon.